Are you ready? Come on, right here, baby.
We're back. Welcome in.
We're back. We missed last week. Oh,
We
one thing
did
we didn't talk about. Let's start off right there with last week. Uh, we got to place some bets,
some real bets.
some
Yeah.
real bets, Vegas style. We placed 9 bets, and and we ended up down $4.
Yep. Basically broke even.
Oh
Basically, what
man.
happened is we put way too much hope into Tottenham upsetting Arsenal, and then that basically lost us all the winnings. But we had some good picks. We had some
Yeah.
other picks that went well.
We made our money elsewhere, and that Liverpool one probably screwed over a lot of people. We
Yeah.
we had that in a parlay
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that got
definitely
us in the
screwed it
parlay.
up. Yeah, you look at those parlays and they never work. There's always one team. That's why
Uh-huh.
Blake threw it out there, and I was like, I hate 4 team favorite parlays because someone's gonna screw it up. But looking at that slate, it was like, how are any of these teams gonna lose? And Nottingham Forest went to Anfield and won.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I think that was one of the rules we had made though, was never go beyond a three leg parlay,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to the favorites, because you're always going to get surprised by somebody.
yeah. It, it's usually a draw, but they actually won the match, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they just got beat.
Yeah, it would like I was like, oh man. I was looking at
Yeah.
the I can't remember what match I was watching. It was a different match though, and it was up in the upper right hand corner. And it was like 88th minute. There was still 1-0. I was like, no way, dude. They can't do it now. Like they'll probably tie it up,
Yeah.
but there's no way they're winning, right? And yeah, it was.
Boom.
But like
Well,
you
we got
said, we made our money elsewhere.
we did. We do have some starter to show drinks before we get into things. We're back to doing pick'ems again. It took us a little bit to get started, but over the last 2 weeks, we were neck and neck. So I barely edged out last week. I think I beat you by 2 points, and then the week before, I think you beat me by like 1.5 points.
Okay.
So a drink each way there, and then there were 2 game weeks, 3 red cards since we last chatted. So 3 more drinks there for us.
Yeah, and again, some questionable reds.
Yes, very questionable.
I know. Are you keeping track of the card count this year? Because last year was out of control.
I'll do a quick check. Yeah, we'll keep track of it.
I mean, you don't need to do it right now, but I know last year it was like 2 reds a week. I think was the
Yeah.
average, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it dropped down near the end, but for quite a while this season, it was like at least 2 reds a week, which was incredible. And I think it slowed down a little near the end, fortunately, but it definitely was elevated last year.
Dude, it was really really bad. It's the refereeing is still really bad, but I think it's better than it was last season. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Last year was so bad. But yeah, so we missed a week, so we have a lot to talk about. So let's just throw some rapid fire topics back and forth, and then if we miss any, we can circle back later.
Okay.
But I think the big news that we got to talk about is Rodri tore his ACL. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fortunate.
Odegaard's already hurt. De Bruyne came up injured, but those guys will be back. It looks like, but Rodri's done, and outside of the point deductions,
Yeah.
do you think this will have an effect on the title? Assuming they don't
Oh, I
get
think
anything.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're still going to be favorites, but it'll put them back into that position similarly that they were in last year when they had stretches with De Bruyne hurt and Haaland hurt, where they just seemed a little bit a step off their usual selves, right? They had some weaknesses. Some teams could get to them. It's just going to make it more in the realm of feasibility that they're going to have some off weeks. And I feel
Hmm.
like he covered up so many deficiencies when they were having one of those off weeks. He was always
He's
filling the hole, plugging the gap, coming up with the goal when they needed it,
yes.
whatever it was. He was just that guy, especially with De Bruyne hurt so much. So he's going to be a huge loss.
And we're gonna talk about Ballon d'Or a little bit later, but he's my Ballon d'Or pick for last season. I think. I think he
Yeah,
was the
I think
best
that's a
player.
fair argument.
There
Yeah,
weren't a ton of other candidates. Uh, Somehow Phil Foden won Player of the Year in the Premier League, but that was a joke.
unreal.
Yeah, I don't think there were a ton of other options for Ballon d'Or. I think he was the best candidate, especially not having De Bruyne for more than half the
Hmm.
season, basically,
Yeah,
and just like you said, carrying that team and just stepping up whenever they needed someone to step up. It was always him.
always there. That center point of the Euros as well, obviously with Spain. So I mean, he showed out this year.
Yeah, so really, really devastating injury. The points deduction thing is another cloud looming over Man City. So I can't tell what's real. Everyone seems to have a
Hmm.
theory on what's going to happen, but I keep seeing that the points deduction will range in I've seen it from 30 points to 60 points.
I've also heard points deductions across seasons.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I feel
so
like
maybe like a set point deduction every season for like 3 seasons, something like that.
I was listening to someone, I can't remember who it was, and it was basically saying uh, that the legal system will need to run its course, and we probably won't even have a resolution
Hmm.
until at the earliest, like March. So
Oh
this
yeah.
could stretch into next season, or the points not be deducted until next season.
Hmm.
I
I
think
mean,
that's what everyone at Man City's banking on right now.
exactly. Yeah, that's how they're acting. With keeping the squad together as it was, is they think they could just push it long enough to get through one more season before something really happens here, and it feels like it's kind of the last hurrah with that squad. But I mean, hopefully, we get to a good conclusion, an accurate conclusion, and there's actually legitimate penalties. None of this stuff that's just gonna wash right off their backs. Just
I don't
it's
understand.
got to be something meaningful.
Yeah, I don't understand why they've been delayed for so long. When
Hmm.
was it Everton got deducted twice last year,
Yeah.
two separate
Hmm.
times they got deducted, and it's like how come like they didn't just stack those and wait till later? And when there's
Hmm.
115 allegations against Man City, I'm pretty sure at least one of those is real.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Is it really just they have all the money and they're just pushing this
Yeah.
off legally? I don't know.
I think so. I think it's a symptom of there being money to push the system to its limit. And we know Everton of all teams is not going to be the team to do that
Yeah, for
with
sure.
how
They're like,
they're run.
just deduct the points already.
Yeah, just get, we're not spending a dime on a lawyer. Come on.
Yeah, for real. God, Everton. Wow, man,
Yeah.
we'll shit on them later. Uh,
Yeah. But I will say it's just awesome that finally there was some sort of hearing or event when it comes
yeah.
to this, right? We've been talking about it so long. At least like something has happened. It's good that we actually crossed that threshold.
Yeah, for sure. So this gives life to Liverpool, to Arsenal. Some other teams may think they also have a
Hmm.
chance now. Uh, I don't think they do. I think it's those three and only those three.
Hmm.
But we'll see how it goes. On the field, Man City and Arsenal played, and we haven't had a chance to talk since they played. So
No,
did you check that one out?
I checked the highlights out. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch live.
I wasn't able to watch the whole thing, but I did catch the highlights to kind of conclude all of it. What'd you think?
I mean, so you mentioned it already coming in, but some questionable red cards. One of those being in this game, which turned the game on its head. So basically, the entire second half was just parking the bus and
Yeah,
trying to hold out for the win. But I mean, the first half was great. There was just I loved just seeing these teams that are like really starting to hate each other. There was just emotion and there was like a little bit of edge and hate, between the players. even a player like Hallen, who I feel like you see never really get that wound up,
Yeah, he
was
lost
taking
it.
things personally, and it was great to see something like that come back to the Premier League. It just sucks that basically we lost half the game because of a stupid red card.
I know, such a dumb red card. Like, just let them play. It's so annoying. Like, we have this awesome matchup and you're going to screw it up. Like, the refs need to just get out of their own way. Like, nobody cares about you. Don't ruin the
Yeah,
game. Like, that was such an unnecessary red card. Like,
yeah,
yes, by the letter of the law, that's a yellow card. But come on, dude. Like,
yeah,
have some judgment. Like, it's so
yeah.
weak. So weak. Um, but back to the Haaland thing that you mentioned. Did you see him
Uh-huh.
throw the ball against Gabriel's
Yeah.
head after?
What, he had his shirt over his head and just doinked him right in the face.
Oh my god, such a dickhead move. Like, I'm usually like 100% pro Haaland all the time with his
Yeah,
antics and what he does. I think it's hilarious.
yeah,
But this one was over the line. It was definitely like you could tell he kind of snapped a little bit and went too far.
yeah.
And
Even at the end of the game too. he
even
was
though
doing
it
some
was
stuff.
really funny, I don't condone that. I don't like that. But it was really funny because I've never seen anybody do that before. But I did like at the end of the game where he was talking shit to like it was a Gabriel Jesus and somebody else. He was like, "You're a fucking clown."
I missed that.
Oh man,
That's great.
so good, dude. We need. I want more of that. And
Yeah.
him and Gabrielle were going at it last season.
Yeah,
so
they were
it was
real
carrying
going
over.
at
And
it.
Gabrielle's been a monster, dude. Absolute
Yeah.
monster. Scored another one on a corner kick. He's just beast right now. And I thought Arsenal just they played tougher than they did last year. I would have loved to seen a second half. I don't want to judge them
Yeah.
completely because it kind of sucks. So we'll see what happens when they go back to London. But I just feel like they don't play like they are the better team. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I know you've said that before describing them. I feel like if you take that attitude or that approach, I feel like they were closer
I
to
agree.
playing that way.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
than
had
what you
more.
probably saw before. And the first half they were giving it a go and it was awesome. But like you said, we really got robbed.
So I want to read you what Bernardo Silva said. I don't know if you saw this, but
No.
he said Bernardo Silva on the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool matches. It's because Liverpool already, he says, quote, it's because Liverpool already won the Premier League and Arsenal hasn't. Liverpool at that time had also won a Champions League while Arsenal hasn't. Liverpool always faced us head on to win matches. So our games against Arsenal haven't been like matches against Liverpool were and still are.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's right. Like Liverpool played
Yeah.
to win. They're like,
Yeah.
we want to win this game. And Arsenal's like, oh, let's try to get a point. Let's park the bus.
Yeah.
Let's defend our ass off and maybe get lucky on a counterattack or a free kick or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's when you put it that way, yeah, comparing to a team like Liverpool, I think that's a very valid point. I think it's not quite as extreme as he's making it sound, but there's definitely a different style there, and it is something to applaud Liverpool for, both historically and even now. They've kind of continued that approach.
Yeah, it's always rubbed me the wrong way where I was rooting for Arsenal. I'm like, yeah, I want to see them win. And then they played like that against Manchester City. And I was like, you don't deserve to win the title if you are clearly like putting your tail between your legs against
Yeah.
a certain team and admitting that they're better. We're just going to try to eke out a point.
Yeah,
I don't think you deserve to win and be called the
I hear what
champion.
you're saying, but I mean, think about that same approach in other sports. I mean, would you say the same of the 2000s Ravens not deserving to win, or the 85 Bears?
Yeah, but
These
it's a
teams
little
that have
different
great
because
defenses.
they had to win in the playoffs, and there are no playoffs in the league. So it's like, okay,
Okay.
we can duck this match and just smoke all the other 19, 18 teams. And we'll have a chance of winning. It's a little different. It's like
Mm,
you can't duck teams in American sport playoffs, and I feel
hmm.
like they ducked them in a sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we'll choose to disagree on that one. I don't know. I'm not as upset or offended by it, as long as you're not taking it to the extreme. But I think they've done enough to prove themselves in this game.
They definitely looked better this year
Hmm.
against them, and like they were willing to fight for the win more than
Hmm.
last season. Last season was a disgrace in my mind.
And once again, just the edge in the game was just great. And
Oh
you
yeah.
you know those when you finally see it boil over and you see those edges that come into the game, that only happens if it's coming from both teams. Like it has to be mutual for that to actually start to show and happen over and over again, which means they're coming in with a much more fighting attitude.
And that is the benefit of having teams stick together.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Um,
Yeah.
to where there was less player movement this summer,
Hmm.
and I think it. Oh man, I got a cough again. And therefore the teams, like, you're able to build a rivalry more. It's kind of like what the NBA is missing a little bit with so
Hmm.
much player movement.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool to see rivalries build up over the years.
Yeah, it is fun. It's been fun to watch.
Whew. Okay, I'm back.
He's back.
All right.
What else we got? What else we got at the top of the
I want to
list?
talk Bundesliga real quick. I don't know if you've been
Okay.
paying attention. Oh my god, I'm
Just a
choking to
little.
death.
Just a little.
But Bayern Munich are 4-0.
Cruising.
Our boy Elise, 6
Killing
matches
it.
in all competitions, 5 goals, 3 assists.
Killing it.
Unbelievable. That's all I had to say.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, he's been playing great. It's awesome. We talked about it. I mean, we wish we were able to see that happen in the Premier League, but he deserves to be on a bigger team like this. He has the talent. He's going to continue to blossom. I feel like he's a player that already has immense confidence, but getting that exposure to those types of situations, that type of game, those types of opponents, playing with those types of players, it's going to help him so much, and you're already starting to see it when he's got players like Kane to create for, right, and these other guys on the field. It's just the perfect position to be in, and the team already loves him. I saw some clip where I think he was being interviewed, and I guess he's really shy, doesn't like talking to the cameras, but Musiala came up and helped be his intermediary the whole time, so he's already creating friendships in the team, and has a team behind him because of who he is and how he's played, and it's great to see so early in his new team.
Well, yeah, Kane's balling out too because he's making things so much easier for Harry
Yeah.
Kane and Musiala. Like,
Hmm.
even when he's setting, like, not getting assists, he's setting up goals, he's creating chances.
Yeah.
It's everything I wanted to see, except it's in the Bundesliga and not in the Premier League, so I can't watch it
Exactly.
as much anymore, which is a bummer. But
I really think the key for him is he needs to keep playing this way. I think a lot of times as players, continue to get better and improve, they could tend to start to slide into becoming a little bit more selfish, trying to score for themselves a little bit more. And I think his golden path is if he can really continue on that line of creating as much as for others as much as he's creating for himself,
yeah.
he's going to be fantastic.
Well, that's
It's
why
going to be
I
amazing.
always liked him, because he just kind of makes the right play.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't really get selfish. He almost overpasses sometimes a little bit and isn't selfish enough. Like, so hopefully he stays like that, like you said.
Yeah.
I think he's
That's
just
why
that
I'm
type
saying
of
if he
player.
just stays in that zone, it's going to be great.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of Champions League, have you watched anything from the Champions League?
I think I watched one highlight.
Dude, I feel like this new system isn't,
Yeah.
like, I'm not excited about it.
Hmm.
I was kind of excited when they announced it. I was like, okay, cool. Like, can't wait. Now that it's here, I'm like, I'm not ready for Champions League. This isn't real Champions League. Like, what are these?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not. I'm not ready
Exactly.
for it yet.
It's not. Yeah, it's not triggering the same response. You're hitting the nail on the head. I feel the exact same way. I was excited, like, oh, this is new and different. This will be cool. More games. But the first week rolled around, and I was like, I don't feel like watching any of it. And
And also, I
and
don't
maybe it's
fully
because
understand the
maybe it could
impact.
be the fact that there's some lackluster matchups, right? There's more teams now. It isn't the same groups. The one place where this may really hinder us is there were moments in the old system, right, where teams have played each other once. There's now some history, right? You're going to play the other place, so
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be missing that part. And maybe that was the magic piece that really made it enticing. But yeah, you're right. I don't really know what it is, but there's something that just feels different. And it didn't draw me in nearly as much.
Yeah, I feel like I I don't know when I'm gonna start getting hooked on it. It might
Hmm.
not be until the
It's
knockout
it's probably
stages.
just going to need to be a headliner matchup. Like, I feel like that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, or maybe like a couple of teams are on the bubble and they got to
Hmm.
play and they got to get a win or something, and then maybe like the last week or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of been a bummer for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
but it's only been 1 week, so I mean, we'll give it a few more weeks, and we'll check in again how we feel.
yeah, and there's one more I didn't put on here, but did you see the Milan derby?
I did. I watched the highlights.
Oh, how about that? Our boy Pulisic just
Love it. I loved how
balling.
excited he got, man, when he scored that goal.
Dude,
It's
that was
just
the
pure
sickest
emotion
goal.
coming
That
out.
was a 100% solo goal. Stole the
Yeah,
ball in midfield, dribbled past like four guys just straight ahead to goal, and just finished just so quick. It was,
yeah,
dare I say, Maradona Messi esque the way he just sliced through there so
yeah.
fast and no one could
Slotted it
stop him.
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so sick. Uh, I can't remember what it is, but the name of the show. But there's an Italian show where they
Uh-huh.
watch the match and they
Oh
have
yeah, well, I watch it live with fans, right?
no, they're not fan. Well, maybe some of them
Or
are fans.
I think there's like announcers and fan. Like, yeah, I know what
They're
you're
either
talking about
yeah, they're
though.
either ex players or like studio hosts. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just like random people.
yeah.
And they always have a mix. And they were going so crazy for Pulisic. The pulley, sick. It was so fucking awesome, dude. I love that shit. He
That's so
is
good.
he has been a revelation for them, and it's so awesome to see. I think he is probably. I think it's safe to say this is the best he's ever played in his career.
Yeah,
Right?
I would say so. I mean, I feel like he looked good, but was still in that, like, he's okay, but he has so much promise in the Dortmund phase, right? And then he just kind of got stuck, in
Chelsea.
that limbo.
Chelsea screwed him up.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I feel like it's the best. The confidence. He's actually contributing in major ways. He's playing consistently.
Hmm.
He's showing emotion. Like, this is the best he's ever looked.
Dude, it's exciting. It's fucking awesome. So happy for him. And yeah, they
Yeah,
end up going up 2-1 and winning that.
yeah. Big
What a
win for
game, dude.
Milan. Yeah,
I would love to go to a Milan derby. I
yeah.
think that
That
might
sounds like
be.
a ton of fun.
I don't know if you could pick a derby to go to. Would that be your number one?
Uh, I mean, that would be really cool. I don't know, man. I want to see them all. The Real Madrid, Barcelona. You
It's a
know,
good one. At what stadium?
I'd love to see Arsenal, Tottenham.
Man,
I'd love to. I'd love to go to the Camp Nou. Go to Barcelona.
I I think I would go the other way and
Really?
go to Madrid. Yeah. Uh,
Had
both would be awesome. Both would be awesome.
yeah, they both be great.
I gotta say though, I did travel to Barcelona. It wasn't during the season, so I wasn't able to go to a match. But Barcelona as a city, not a fan.
Meh.
Meh,
Mm.
definitely meh. Um, but yeah, I would love to go see
Oh, I
that.
can't forget the Old Firm. That would be awesome to go to.
What are the two Brazilian clubs that hate each other?
Oh, probably what, Flamengo and
I can't remember.
who is
Yeah,
it?
I heard it gets
Sao Paulo
real
and
out of hand.
Flamengo or
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, one of those.
That would be crazy. That would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
Um, okay, and then so this last thing that I had for you.
Uh-huh.
So I saw this on, I don't know, some other uh, professional soccer podcast, not this garage band shit we got going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we know more than them. Here's here's what they, but I did like this idea, and I don't know if I agree with it or not. I want to get your take.
Okay.
So to try to summarize it, they looked at the Ballon d'Or nominees for 2024. Then they looked at the nominees for 2014 and 2004. And
Okay.
the premise of this was the state of soccer right now is very weak and poor compared to how it was. That's how it was presented. So I'm gonna list out these names, and then you can see if you agree.
Okay.
So the nominees for this year, this is in alphabetical order, by the way, because it hasn't been chosen yet. It's Jude Bellingham, Kalinoglu, Danny Carvajal, Ruben Diaz, Artem Dovbyk. I can't say his name well. The Girona Ukrainian forward. Phil Foden, Grimaldo, Holland, Hummels, Harry Kane, Tony Cruz, Lukman from Atalanta, Emi Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, Mbappe, Odegaard, Danny Olmo, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, Rodri, Rudiger, Saka, Saliba, Valverde, Vinicius Jr., Vitinha, Nico Williams, Florian Wirtz, Xhaka, and Lamine Yamal.
Okay.
No Mo Salah for some unknown
Unreal.
reason. Like
Unreal.
how he's not on there, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's this year. We
Okay.
go back to 2014. Cristiano Ronaldo won. Messi was second. Manuel Neuer, Iron Robin, Thomas Muller, Philip Lahm, Neymar, James Rodriguez, Tony Cruz, Angel Di Maria, Diego Costa, Gareth Bale, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Yaya Toure, Götze, Benzema, Iniesta, Schweinsteiger, Mascherano, Thibaut Courtois, David Luiz, Paul Pogba, and Sergio Ramos.
Okay. Pretty stacked.
2004, 20 years ago, Andrei
Okay.
Shevchenko won it. Fucking love Andrei Shevchenko. Deco was second, another baller. Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, Zagorakis. I don't remember him from Greece. He played at Bologna. Adriano, Pavel Nedved, Wayne Rooney, Ricardo Carvalho, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Samuel Eto'o, Kaká, Delas, Fernando Morientes, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Buffon, Figo, Zidane, Manish, Paulo Maldini, Vicente. The list goes on. Like,
Yeah.
are they right?
I will say you read those lists off. Those lists are correct. I mean, those
Correct
are
in what
the
sense?
most their statement is correct. You know, those past teams as a whole, those teams way better than the current flock. Obviously, I think you could set aside the Ronaldo and Messi aspect, you know, as kind of outliers, right? But say you take them out of the conversation, you look at the rest of the three the 3 decades. Those previous 2 decades are better. However, I think the state of the wider soccer world, if we were to go and do the next 70 players, I think would be better now. I think overall, just the general skill level and talent level across the board has improved.
So the floor has been raised.
Floor has raised in general, I think, across the soccer world, across countries, across leagues. I just in general with the times, players have just gotten more athletic. They're training at a younger age. They're training in more dedicated ways. They're training in better systems. They're taking care of their bodies more. I think just that floor has increased. However, the very top, which you're listing off there, yeah, I think there's a decline. We talked about it a little bit, right? Where like kind of the skill and flair maybe disappearing from the game with some of these players, and that might be speaking to it right there.
Yeah, is it maybe the systems don't, or that floor that's being raised is making it more difficult for top tier players to excel?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was thinking kind of a different idea is that will we be talking about these players differently in 10 years? Like, is it because we're looking at them right now that we're not
Mm-hmm.
idolizing them as much? For
That's
example, like,
that's a very good point. You say you list the 2004 team. I am not thinking about them in 2004. I'm thinking about their whole career.
right. Yeah, so
Yeah,
if I look at this list and I'm like, dude, they got Jude Bellingham, uh, Howland, Harry
yeah,
Kane, Tony Cruz is on here. He was on the one 10 years ago too, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Uh,
Baller.
Kylian Mbappe. Like
Yeah,
I do agree there are some guys on here that I'm like, what? Why? How is Danny Carvajal on here and
yeah,
uh, Alex Grimaldo?
yeah.
I don't know. Uh, Bukayo Saka, I think he's a great player. Like Mo Salah should be on here before he is.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's not a ton of star power in the current crop, I
Yeah,
guess. But you got Lamine
yeah. No,
Yamal,
no,
who's on here as like a teenager. That's crazy.
exactly. Yeah. So, and I agree.
Vinicius
Yeah. So,
Jr. stud.
yeah.
But yeah,
No. So I think it is a good point. It's impossible to not think of them broadly across their career with a question like that looking back, and it's probably always going to be that case, when you're looking at players that are early in their career or in the middle of their career now in the present tense. It's very hard. You're extrapolating if you want to try to compare overall of apples to apples between the two eras.
yeah, I do think that there are. I think
There are players that could compete with any of those other players right now. You have a Howland, you have Mbappe. Like there are players that I once again I would take the Ronaldo and Messi out of the equation here as
right.
outliers, but there are players that could easily compete with the top on those past decades, but it isn't as deep. You know, 5 through 20.
Yeah, and I think it's especially shallow right now for
Uh huh.
strikers. There's just not a lot of world class strikers, and
Mm.
those other lists there was way more. Right
Hmm.
now, I would say there's Haaland, uh, Harry Kane, and who is the other one? I would even put Lautaro Martinez in there. I would
Hmm.
probably say those are the top three
Yeah.
out strikers right now. You could say, oh, Mbappe. I think of him more as a winger. There's some wingers that occasionally play forward, but there's just not a lot of center forwards anymore. And
Hmm.
back in those other lists, it was like Shevchenko, Van Nistelrooy, Drogba.
Hmm.
Like there was a ton of guys that
Yeah.
they just don't have. They don't make strikers like that anymore, and I don't know why
Yeah.
that is. But maybe it's
Haaland's the
just
closest thing to it. These like guys that were just absolute bulldogs. The game has become more athletic and at the same time less physical in a lot of ways.
yeah.
And it suits, especially with the tactics now, it just suits different types of players. And it's why I think we really do like Haaland so much, because it feels like a flashback in time to a Drogba, right?
Yes.
Or a Shevchenko, like these guys that were just beasts and could play through the contact and the physicality and still perform.
He's got a lot of Drogba in him.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Strong,
Hmm.
physical, but lethal on the
Yeah.
finish. And would take a first touch strike from anywhere.
Hmm.
Love that.
The confidence overflowing. Yep.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, that was all I had for catching up.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Well, why don't we jump into it? We were going to do our our main event this week is we're going to look at the current state through 5 game weeks of the EPL table. We've created a impromptu tier list with some inventive categories in those tiers. So we're going to go through and place each team into the respective categories and talk through where we think these teams should line up.
Let's go.
All right, let me share my screen. What's going on here? What's happening? All right, can you see that?
Yeah, nope. Well, I thought I did. Oh, I didn't. I didn't set it up. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. I got you.
We're in there? All right, cool. All right, so, I mean, we could just start. How do you want to do this? You want to start at the top and work down?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I have the various teams listed here, along with one bonus candidate that we will get to along the way. But starting at the very top of the list, in the top category, 115, whether you think that's the number of points they're going to get this season or the number of charges that are actually going to be found guilty, Manchester City taking the top spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're in a tier of their own. I really do.
Yeah.
Without charges, I think you just crown them. Even with the ACL tear, I still think they're ridiculous.
I still think they should be the favorite. Yeah, even with the Rodri injury we talked about, I do think they're more vulnerable now, obviously. But I think they're going to be right in that same sort of zone they were last year, right? Where they looked just vulnerable enough to give people some ideas, but really not enough to make a difference.
I'll tell you what, if that De Bruyne injury becomes a recurring issue, then my thoughts will change. If they don't have De Bruyne and Rodri, they're gonna be just like the rest of the top teams.
They'll be leaning so heavily on an older Gundogan.
Yep. Such a huge re-signing, though.
Yeah. Clutch that they brought it back in.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, so our second tier, stepping down for Man City, we have the teams that are just itching to get one of those front row seats at the next EPL hearing about potential point deductions for Man City, hot on their heels.
Yeah.
Our title contenders.
I think these teams are the teams that can win the title if the charges come down on Man City. And those are Liverpool and Arsenal. Do you think there's another team in this group? Maybe a Villa or...
No.
Okay, I agree.
I don't. My question to you is, taking all personal judgments aside, who do you think should be first on this list between these two?
I think Arsenal will be more consistent because their defense is so strong. But I think Liverpool just have a higher ceiling and can actually do it. But they can't have duds like they did against Nottingham Forest. I also think I like the Calafiori pickup because if they do run into some injuries, they have some more depth at their defense. So I think Arsenal are in better position to be there and waiting if Man City drop. But if Man City doesn't drop, I think Liverpool have a better chance of catching them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I kind of agree with the statement you made, right? That Liverpool, it feels like, has a higher ceiling if everything starts gelling and everything's in gear. The style they play, like you talked about earlier, you could see them getting to higher levels, but Arsenal probably much more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next group, talent and maybe substance. So categorize this title for me.
Yeah, so these are the guys. I mean, obviously, we just went through the tier of the guys we really think can compete for the title pending Manchester City situation. These are the guys that may be up there now, maybe showed a lot of promise last year, showing a lot of promise this year. really strongly competing for European spots, maybe even expecting to be in European spots. Probably thinking, based off the squads they have, that they should be competing for a title, but really, we know that's not the case. So those guys that I think are right on the edge of around top 4, top 6.
So this is in no particular order. We're going to rearrange them, but I think Villa has to be there, Newcastle has to be there, and Tottenham has to be there for me. Do you think any other team is a part of this group? You think Chelsea makes it in there? They've started well.
I think they are in here, which is probably good enough to put them in here.
Yeah, put them at the end of this list because
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The talent's there. If we think about this category as a whole, they have talent all over the place, but consistency and it gelling has been a challenge.
How would you order these as far as best chance to get in the top 3?
I really love the way Tottenham was looking coming into the season. I heard that Son potentially got hurt today in their game. I don't know.
I don't know the severity of it, but he did.
I don't know either. I just feel like it's a fool's errand to put Tottenham in that spot, just realistically with how things generally go. I agree with Chelsea last. I think Tottenham deserves to be in that spot. I think this is right. I think Aston Villa, the last year and a half has just been kind of hell for Newcastle. Injuries, suspensions, just issues all over the place that the consistency has been tough. 2 years ago, we were singing their praises as the best or second best defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
That's kind of gone by the wayside, which they were able to lean on so much when we really liked them. And I really think Aston Villa's taken that spot.
All right. Yeah, I'm with that. And then next category, happy little accidents. Who are you putting in this group?
Yeah, so the obviously the Bob Ross inspiration for this is those teams that start of the season has looked very good for them, potentially not expecting to be in the places that they are in, whether you call that overperforming or good matchups or good coaching. But those teams that are in a place that's better than where they probably should be.
I only have one team for this. I think there are more options, but the first team that comes to mind for me is Fulham.
Yes, Fulham is on that list for me, definitely.
Because they've not only won, but they've looked good. And I feel like you look at their roster and you're like, I don't know. Coming into the year, I didn't think they were gonna be that good, but they're a tough team. So yeah, I'm gonna go Fulham. Yeah. Anyone else you want to put in there?
I have to go with Nottingham Forest, man. They're sitting in eighth position to start the season for where they were. The last couple years to start the season the way they have is a fantastic for them. It's not going to last. They're not going to stay in eighth position, but this is that to me is kind of the definition of a happy little accident for them to start this year.
Absolutely. Winning at Anfield, you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Sneaky good. I think sneaky good is like the definition of Brighton. Like somehow they're just always under the radar, but can beat anybody on any given day. So I would put Brighton in sneaky good because they are legit good.
I agree entirely. I think they've been, they're we've seen this multiple times with Brighton now. Like they perform well, pretty good, well enough, considering their circumstances. And then they gut the team, lose the coach, whatever, every time we have to figure it out by now. There's always like a little bit of hesitancy, but they always figure it out, man. They always have the secret up the sleeve, of who to go pull. And once again, that scouting department, whatever, front office is fantastic.
And then do we put Brentford, Bournemouth in there? Where they're lower on the table, but I feel like they're better than expected. They're just always better than you think they're gonna be.
Exactly. Yeah, I would tend to. I think Bournemouth's right on the line for me. I do like Brentford there. I think losing Tony,
Yeah,
you
Tony
would think
hurts.
they're going to suck, and they don't. And that to me is like right in line with sneaky good. They're a team you can't sleep against. They have still have good players. They play a good style, good coach.
Yeah.
You got to go into that game prepared, even if you're a top team.
Yeah, drop Brentford in there. Okay. Next category. One team and one team only in the wanker category. It's got to be Man United. Everyone knows. It's like, what is their deal, man? What is their deal? Like, they can't get out of their own way. They're just such a letdown every time you see them. And Ten Hag is so annoying. Is he not the most annoying coach in the league?
He's his my amount of you know grimacing when he's on the screen has steadily increased this season. It's become a more and more punchable face in the league, I gotta say.
And I'll cut him a little bit of slack because being the Manchester United coach, you're probably bombarded with ridiculous media questions all of the time, just relentlessly. And I don't know, but he is making some really annoying quotes that I hear him like a lot of complaining, a lot of finger pointing, and I'm just like, dude, your team needs to be better. You have enough talent to be better. Like, figure it out. Stop picking up Dutch players from
Mm-hmm.
like some random team, thinking like this is gonna change things. Uh, yeah, they're just, I, yeah, they're winkers for sure.
And I had a bonus to add into this category, based off our discussion about red cards. I had to throw in the ref from
Oh,
the
is that
Arsenal
Michael
game.
Oliver?
Michael Oliver
Yeah, he definitely
in the
belongs in
wanker
there.
category.
Nice touch. That makes sense.
Had to do it.
All right, next, shite, the shite category.
Love it.
So this, I feel bad putting Bournemouth in the shite category, and because I feel like they're better than shite, but
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'm left with. So I guess Bournemouth is the top in the shite category for me, and then I would put West Ham in here because what the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with West Ham? They
Yeah.
should
Major.
not be where they are. They're 14th in the table. They have 4 points after 5 matches.
Yeah. Major underperformance. I also would add Crystal Palace in here. I don't think they're deserving of a bottom two tier, but we got to see more out of them.
Yeah, it hurts losing Elise. You can't replace him. But they should be better. You're right. Anyone else
All right.
in here, or are we going moving on to
No,
proper
I think
shite?
that's the line. I think we draw the line there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Proper shite. I think this is Leicester and Wolves.
Yeah.
Do you agree with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I would agree. I am looking at Ipswich. They do have 3 draws on the season, which is
They're playing tough.
say impressive.
Yeah, give
I
them
would
proper.
I'd edge them
Yeah,
up.
yeah, they're not the abyss.
Yeah. They have a little bit of hope going for them. But yeah, Wolves disappointing, very disappointing start to the season. It feels like they have more in the tank that just hasn't come out.
I don't know, man. That roster is not great.
I feel like there's another step there though. Like they could beat a team like Ipswich, is how I feel. So they haven't performed at that level.
True.
And then Leicester, obviously, it's great to have them back, but they just don't have it like they used to.
Yeah, they're not the same Leicester of old. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. But they still got Jamie Vardy. There's like hints. Close your eyes, blow your eyes a little bit. You're like, oh, is that Leicester?
He'll still be there. Yeah. All right, our final tier, the Abyss.
Yeah.
2 teams clearly in this tier. We have Southampton, newly promoted.
Everton has to be last.
Terrible start to the season, and then Everton. We've talked about it before, but from the top to the bottom, just a shit show, just absolute shit show.
They've actually had moments of brilliance followed up by just huge errors and choke
Hmm.
jobs. So it's like they actually have some talent to not be in the bottom, yet they're in the bottom.
Yeah,
And
I mean, when you're tied on goal difference in last place, to have that crushing loss that they had, they were up 2 goals, right,
dude, they had
and then
two of
lose it.
those.
2 of those gets right. 2 of those games,
They, oh my
soul
god,
crushing.
dude, absolutely horrid. Uh, I feel bad for the fans. I think ownership needs to get all of the blame, and I hope they get
Yeah,
relegated because of it, because those owners
yeah,
are garbage, and get some real owners in there. Because
yeah.
that's a proud franchise. That is one of the state. That's a rivalry I want to go to. Everton, Liverpool, but
Uh-huh.
not at this point in time. I want Everton to be good again.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was that popped in my mind, but I was like, "There's no way I want to go see that."
Not right now. Not right now. It's not a rivalry right now.
Back to the
At
glory
least
days,
on the
please.
field. But yeah, good
Well,
list.
there
I
you
think
go.
this. So, a quick question for you. So we're looking at
Yeah.
it just real quick. So, without the titles, we have Man City, and then we have Arsenal, Liverpool below them, Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, and then Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Brentford. I'm gonna stop at Manchester United.
Hmm.
Do you think Manchester United will get it together this season? And by get it together, I mean actually fighting for a top four spot. Right now, they are, what are they?
They're
They're
11th right now.
11th in the table, 7 points.
Yeah, tied on 10th.
So
Yeah,
they're
with
only
Tottenham.
4 points out of fourth.
Yeah.
Do you
No, I
think?
mean, my age-old mo and opinion about Man U. They just always seem to find a way to be in that conversation, whether it's
Well, it didn't
being
happen
favored
last
by the
year.
refs, whatever it is. Yeah, it's true. But I still have those general feelings about them. They have been missing, players like Hoyland, who I do think makes a big difference for them. So I think they'll have a stretch here where they really, step back up into the top six conversation. Cracking the top five is going to be tough, though. I think
Yeah,
sixth is where they could get to.
I flat out don't think they're good enough to be in the top four. I think there's too many other
Oh
good
yeah, I don't think
teams.
so.
I don't think they're gonna make it. Do you know what they finished last year?
They finished eighth.
That's right, they finished
Yeah,
eighth.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think they could beat that, but it's not a promising start to the season.
no, they don't look like a different team. I thought they would be
Yeah,
a little better. So
yeah, yeah. Those feelings are still there, right? You feel like they're going to get it together, and I
there's
think
just
having a player like Hoyland will help make a difference.
it'll help. Yeah, there's something else going on there. I don't know what it is. I did like a lot of the signings that they made. They should be better. They really should.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had some promise coming into the season, but they got to turn it around now.
Yeah. Um. All right.
All right.
So why don't you flip back over and I'll adjust this. Why don't you go first? You had some trivia. Why don't you do that first? Because while I
Oh wow,
pull
that
up
thing
what I
changed
gotta
size.
do. Yeah, I adjusted it.
Yeah. So yeah, I had some stats and trivia for you. First off, just some of the stats. So we talked a little bit about Howland. So some stats recently from him. Let me get this right. So I had this somewhere. There it is. Okay, this is actually a question for you. How many teams do you think Haaland has more goals than at this
Oh, at
point
this
in the
point,
Premier
I
League?
think two
Yeah,
weeks ago he had. After 3 weeks, he had more than any other team. Now, I would guess I don't know, 18 of the teams,
16. So if you
16.
if you exclude Man City, so
Right.
still in a great spot.
But
And he
yeah,
has 10 of Man City's 13 goals, which
crazy.
is wild. And then another, this was just a stat, but I believe it was over the weekend, he tied Ronaldo's record for the fastest to 100 goals with a club
Mm-hmm.
at 105 games apiece. So almost a goal per game record there. He was on track to smash that when he first started, but obviously that came back a little bit.
But still, he's still cruising.
Yeah, and that was, a Ronaldo in his absolute prime, making a move to, Real Madrid, greatest team, and
I know.
so it's there could be stages ahead of that in the future for Haaland. All right, so I have in front of me the average delay per team in the Premier League so far this season. So our teams that we feel like are wasting the most time are
Oh yeah.
kicking the ball out, sitting on the ball, getting a new ball,
Yeah,
whatever it is. Delaying.
it's Arsenal.
Okay, all right, you got
It's
it.
Arsenal.
Who do you think's at the other end of the spectrum?
Probably a team losing every game. Um, Manchester United.
No, United's in the middle.
I don't know, Ipswich.
No, it's actually West Ham, and
Losing every game. Yeah,
yeah, losing every game. But right behind him is Liverpool and Tottenham, so two better teams that are not wasting time on the ball.
No.
And there's a 7 and 8 minute difference almost between Arsenal and West Ham and Liverpool, Tottenham.
That's crazy. I wonder how they. Is that just at any point in time, like when the ball goes out and it's in their possession?
Yeah, so it's I have the exact thing here. So time taken between corners, goal kicks, free kicks, penalties, throw-ins, and kicking off after scoring.
Kicking off after scoring. Okay. Okay.
All right, next question for you. There are two active defenders in the Premier League that are tied for the most assists for defenders in the history of the Premier League. Who do you think those defenders are?
Is it Trent Alexander-Arnold?
He is one of them. Yep.
Um, who would be the other one? The Andy Robertson?
It is on
Nice.
the same team.
Both sides, yeah.
Both tied on 59 assists.
Well, they've both been around for a while, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Play with some great players
that's
too.
pretty. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy that both active and on the same team at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, my last question for you. We just went through the whole table. We did our rankings, all of that. There are 4 teams in the Premier League that are still unbeaten. So I don't know if you were looking at records when we went through that, but can you name the 4 teams that have not lost yet in the Premier League?
Not lost. Man City, Arsenal, Brighton.
Got it. Okay.
There's one more.
There's one more team.
I can't remember if Villa lost or not. I think they did. Is it Villa? I think they lost. Is it Tottenham?
No, Tottenham lost.
They lost. I don't know. Is it Villa? It's not Villa.
It's not Villa either.
Newcastle?
Nope, also lost. Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
unbeaten.
wow. That was a tough one. Yeah, I wouldn't have got
Yeah.
that. Oh, dang. That's
So
a
I think
good one.
they're sitting on 2 wins and 3 draws, I think.
It's a happy little accident right there.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Better than being sneaky good.
Yeah, they are pretty sneaky good right now. Okay. Do you have any more? Because I had something for
That's
you.
it. Over to you.
I wanted to get your take on the strikers right now in the Premier League.
Okay.
Now, there's a little bit of leeway here on who's a striker and who's not a true striker, but
Okay.
basically who's playing right now. I think we can all agree Haaland's number one.
Agree.
Two, I would put Ollie Watkins there. I know you're a big Isak guy. Who would you put two?
I think based off of last season, you would put Watkins. I think he's kind of stumbled to start the year. It's brought him a little bit closer to neck and neck there, I would say. But I think he'd still lead Watkins.
Okay. And then would you have Isak third then?
I would personally. I'm trying to think of somebody that I feel like should
So
unseat him.
let me give you some other names
Okay.
right now. So we have
Nicholas Jackson.
Nicholas Jackson, who's actually started better than
He's
he
played pretty well.
has. We have
Hmm.
Darwin Nunez, who's basically been
Hmm.
relegated to the bench. I'll also
Yeah.
throw in Diego Jota. I'll count him because he's been playing striker. Um, we have Kai Havertz, Calvert Lewin, Danny Welbeck, Mateta. Uh, take your pick at West Ham. Um, who else? I'm missing somebody. Wait, let me pull it back up. Chris Wood. Like it drops off a cliff pretty fast. Is
Yeah,
my
it
point.
does.
There's not a
Yep.
lot of strikers.
There's
Uh,
not.
like even like a like I don't even know who would maybe cross over. I know that Son played a little bit last year, but I still think he's a winger.
Yeah.
But Solanke's the other one. So I would
Uh-huh.
put Solanke up there. But there's really not
Yeah.
that many strikers right now.
There
So
isn't.
if I'm ranking strikers, it's probably Watkins, Isak, and Haaland, like we mentioned, and then Nunez and Jota. I would put maybe together in that like 4 or 5 spot, maybe interchangeable for me. And then after that, it's take your pick. Like
Hmm.
who would you rather have? Would you rather have Nicholas Jackson or Kai Havertz on your team?
It's not a position you want to be in. It's.
I mean, who would you pick?
I would take Jackson. I'm sure he's on less money and he creates a lot for the players around him. Not a good finisher, but I feel like he's a pretty good creator for the other players.
Yeah, I also would take Nicholas
Hmm.
Jackson. Okay, would you take Nicholas Jackson or Calvert Lewin?
Jackson.
Nicholas Jackson or Gabriel Jesus?
It's so tough with him not playing like at all,
You just
you
can't
know.
count on that guy.
Yeah, I would take Jackson.
Yeah, it's crazy. What about João Pedro? Would you count him? He's not quite a striker, but
Yeah, I think he's really good. I feel like he would kind of suffer like Jesus though if you really put him into like you are the striker. He would
yeah,
kind of be in the same boat, I think.
Brighton's a good place for him.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
Nicholas Jackson or Solanke?
I like the situation that Solanke's in a lot better.
That's not what I
It sucks
asked.
he got hurt the first
Who
game.
would you take if in that great situation? Would you rather have Solanke or Jackson?
If I need a true striker, I would take Solanke.
Yeah, I would take Solanke too.
Hmm.
But man, it's tough out there.
Pretty
to
barren,
find-
man.
It's
Yeah,
it's just crazy the amount of money that's in the Premier League, and those are the strikers. And
yeah,
then we probably Hoyland. Hoyland is another one. He's probably
yeah,
on the outside
yeah.
looking in.
Obviously, he's kind of out of the thought process, and then Fulkrug came in and got hurt, so it's
Yeah,
But it's crazy. I think Fulkrug, like one of the best strikers of the Bundesliga, comes in and like isn't even mentioned. It's
middle.
like
Yeah, he's
yeah,
middle tier. Yeah,
hmm
it's just kind of that. I think that speaks to the. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to why that is, but just the lack
yeah,
of striker depth at the moment.
yeah, 100%.
And then what else did I have for you? Okay, so I was watching Christian Pulisic get interviewed by I think it was Goal.com, and they're doing
Okay,
the thing like I just did for you, like this player or that player, and then he'd
yeah,
pick this player, and then so I go to the next one, But it was
yeah,
all AC Milan players,
Like legends or current players?
Legends,
Okay.
all retired,
Okay.
and it was cool. But at the same time, you're like, holy shit! There's so many good guys on this fucking
Yeah.
team, and I'm not gonna remember it exactly, but I'll just go off the number of players that I remember.
Hmm.
So the first one they did, though, I do remember the first one. It was Kaká or Ronaldinho to start it off. So
Love it.
I'll do it to you. Kaká or Ronaldinho?
I mean, at their peaks, Kaká.
Kaká or Ibrahimovic?
Kaká.
Kaká or Shevchenko?
Kaká.
Kaká or Gattuso?
Kaká. I love Gattuso.
Kaká or Cafu?
Kaká.
Kaká or Pirlo?
Pirlo.
Pirlo or Maldini?
Maldini.
I think Maldini is the winner.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to say Sador.
I was gonna say Seedorf.
Yeah.
Honestly, I forgot about
Yeah.
Seedorf.
Yeah. But
Seedorf, dude. There's so many.
but Maldini's gonna win out,
They dropped Pato in there, but I don't think Pato is at the same level as those guys. But he did have a run where he was pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah, he was like everything Alvaro Morata was supposed to be.
Alfred, come on, Morata wishes he's never run that fast his entire life. Pato could he would make these runs where he would just kick the ball like 20 yards ahead of himself and just outrun everybody there. It was funny.
See, that is, you know what? That's a perfect example of getting back to what I was saying earlier about the level of the game. You can't do that anymore. The players are too good. They're too athletic. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore,
No.
And that to me is all about the floor raising.
You get like that famous Bale goal at Real Madrid where he kicks the ball down the line and gets kind of pushed off the field and still outruns him on that huge turn and scores. Yeah, you don't see those very often. There's a few guys that are still...
There's a couple guys like Mbappe that could do that stuff, but
yeah,
it's rare.
Mbappe
seem to happen more.
Vinicius Jr. is lightning quick.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are on the same team, which is crazy. Mo Salah's is getting towards the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's not a lot of guys. Everyone's fast.
Yeah, no, it is interesting when you look at it from that perspective.
All right, cool. Yeah, Kaká, you picked Kaká pretty far. He was.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, maybe he had a shorter peak than some of those other guys, but him at his peak, he was incredible.
He was. Kaká or Seedorf?
I mean, I on a personal level, I'd choose Seedorf, but I think Kaká was better at his peak.
I don't know.
But I want Seedorf on my team, man. Like
Seedorf, yeah, dude. What did he win? Three Champions League with 3 different clubs.
Calmness personified. Just at any stage of his career,
great
legendary.
Team player. Yeah,
always just the definition of always making the right play, always,
and a rocket of a right foot.
Yeah.
Absolute cannon.
Love it.
All right, cool. Should we get into our picks?
Yeah. Let's wrap things up with week 6.
All right, cool. Why don't you start with your picks because I'm going to do mine on the fly.
Okay. All right.
So, not looked at the betting odds, but I will.
I have not either. Yeah.
Okay.
So first game we have
after I give my pick, so I don't interfere with my choices.
Okay, sounds good. First game up on the slate, we have Newcastle hosting Manchester City. Manchester City obviously coming off of the draw with Arsenal, fighting back, but obviously losing. We talked about losing Rodri.
Yeah.
I think this is a prime spot for Newcastle to make a statement.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to have quite enough.
I don't think so either, but I
think
want them
another
to.
Draw here, 2-2.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick with my heart on this one. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay.
The betting line is Let me pull it up here.
Plus
Betting line
390
is
Newcastle, minus
minus
165.
165 for Man City, plus 350 for a draw. I think that's fair. I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, none of those jump out. I would hope for better odds if I were Newcastle better.
And Man City, I feel like even
Closer to
odds on the
yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Nope, probably no De Bruyne, no
Yeah, this
Rodri.
is a casino line right here. Not a big fan of it.
Yeah, there's not a ton of value there for me. Next up, Arsenal Leicester. Who did you pick? It's got to be easy. Arsenal, right?
3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, same. Arsenal does this where they'll play a lesser team and they'll just destroy.
Destroy them. Yeah.
Yeah, 3-0 also for me. The line is Arsenal minus 575,
Yeah.
so you're not betting that.
Not even looking at that one.
Oh my
I would
god.
say the over under at 3.25. I mean, I could see this being 4-0, 3-1.
I don't see 3-1 because that Arsenal defense is really good, man. I just don't see Leicester
Yeah.
scoring. That's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah, but because it's at 3.25, you do get half your money back if it's at 3. So if it
Oh,
does end 3-0, you get they put half your money on 3, half on 3.5.
I always
You
forget how
get
that
half your
works.
money back.
Okay.
So that's something to think about.
Still scares me, but
Yeah.
yeah. Brentford at home for West Ham, a reeling West Ham. Do West Ham get it together this week?
Man, it's this tough spot for them to be. I think they fight back, but I went draw here. I think they're still going to on the road. Brentford's a tough team.
Brentford is a tough team at home.
2-2.
I'm going to go Brentford 2-1. And West Ham coach is fired by the end of this week.
Dude,
Bringing someone new.
no way. There's no way.
Something's not right with that team. West Ham's going to need to prove to me that they're back for me to pick them.
Yeah.
What are the odds? The odds are Brentford plus 120 at home, West Ham plus 215. Okay. So if you're feeling strongly about either of those two clubs, there's some value there.
Yeah. Yeah, both plus odds.
Ooh, this will be a fun one. Chelsea at home for Brighton. I
Yeah.
like this matchup. This could be matchup for the week for me. Chelsea, they kind of scare me now. Are they good?
I think they're pretty good, man.
They're at home. I think Brighton are good, though, too. I'm going to go 2-2. I think it's going to be a fun one.
I went 2-1. I gave it to Chelsea here.
Hey, look at that. All
Yeah.
right.
No, I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. I think the manager just I don't know tactically how much he's done, but I feel like he just has given the players so much confidence this year. I don't know what the difference is, but like you said, it's like, are they good? They seem pretty good,
Yeah,
and
they seem pretty
it feels
good.
like it's just a confidence thing in my eyes.
I think he's kind of solidified everyone's position on the team, where he's like, okay, this is the formation we're playing. We have these two guys playing left wing and right wing, and these two guys backing them up, left wing and right wing. They're going to come in and play the exact same role and
Yeah.
just keep coming at defenses. Yeah, they're good. But again, I don't think Brighton's getting enough respect with the plus 330, even though it's on the road. Like, they're better than that. I don't think they should win this. Like, I picked a draw. I think Chelsea's playing well, but I still think that's not a lot of respect for Brighton, who are unbeaten on the year. We just talked about
Yeah.
it.
We just talked about
This
it.
is
Yeah.
going to be a fun
I also
day.
don't like that it's the same odds as a draw as a win for them. There's something that's
It doesn't make sense
off
there.
with that line in my eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that look.
It's like they want you to bet the win for Brighton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this game's going to be a dud. Everton at home for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Practically even line here.
What's the under on this?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, I might take the under on this one.
I picked the under with my pick. I want 1-1 draw.
I think, oof. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go 1-0 Everton wins. At home, I think they get it together. They've gotten close.
We have to bet the under then.
Yeah, I think under is a
Under
safe bet.
two point
What are the
five,
odds for the win? Plus 170. Oh, so it's basically a pick 'em.
even. Yeah.
Plus 170, plus 160 for each team to win. And then red hot Nottingham Forest at home against Fulham. This should be a good one too.
Red hot Fulham. Yep.
Dang, these teams are both feeling themselves. Nottingham Forest is not an easy place to play, but I think Fulham are the
Mm-mm.
better team.
Me too.
Oof. I'm gonna say Fulham takes this one 2-1. Hard
I
fought, but they
said,
win on the road.
I said exactly the
Same
same. I think
thing.
they come in and finally knock them down a notch. I think they're playing well enough,
What are the odds on
riding
this one?
high, and they're getting goals from multiple people. They're creating better in midfield than they were last season. I love Fulham in this spot. I
I
think they're going to come in and surprise them.
If you think Fulham are gonna win, which we both do,
Yeah,
I think the over is a pretty easy pick because it's 2.5. I think there's at least 3 goals in this.
I like that. Yeah,
If
I
it's
like both those. I like Fulham to win, and I like the overs as separate bets. Both.
if it's a rock fight and it ends up 1-0, like I don't think Fulham's winning that one. I think
Uh-huh.
they got to open it up and they got to be the team in the lead for that to happen. But that should be a really fun match.
Yeah, I like that. That looks good.
That's the 7 a.m. Okay. Oh man, it's the same time as Chelsea and Brighton. That sucks. Might have to record. All right. Next up, Wolves at home against Liverpool. Poor Wolves. My Wolverhampton.
Oof.
Oh
Damn, that
man.
sucks for them.
I mean, I can't.
Liverpool 3-1.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm gonna go 2-1. 2-1 Liverpool. Not tough. What are the odds on that one? That is minus 280 for Liverpool win. Yeah. Mm. And then next up is Ipswich at home for Villa. Tough one for Ipswich, but they've been playing tough.
Mm-hmm. Until now, I went 3-0 on this one.
I would 2-0. I
Yeah.
just typed it
Yeah.
in 2-0. Odds on that
I mean,
one.
close to even odds for Aston Villa though
Minus
to win it.
120 for a Villa win.
I like that.
Sign
Yeah.
me up for that one. No love for Villa. What are they, like third or fourth in the league?
What's going on there?
Man United at home for Tottenham. Oh man, there's some good
Ooh,
matchups this week.
I know. I
Um,
like this.
I think Ange Ball is gonna shit all over Ten Hag. I'm gonna go with Tottenham 3, Man United 1.
I think both these teams are just stumbling at the moment, so I went 2-2.
Okay.
I think this is a classic game where I see like Liverpool going up early, or sorry, not Liverpool, Man U going up early, Tottenham going up 2-1, and then giving up some shit goal in the 82nd minute. And they all of a sudden it's a draw. It's just like I picture it immaculately right now. Exactly what's going to happen.
Oh man, I think Tottenham win this match. They're plus 180. Manchester United's plus 130. I definitely want to put some money on Tottenham, even though they burned us in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not losing faith.
Okay, plus 180. All right.
And then last up, Bournemouth at home for Southampton. I think Bournemouth at home are a good team. I'm going to go 2-0 Bournemouth over Southampton.
I went 2-1. So
Okay. So pretty similar.
Southampton just not able to compete.
Yeah. Minus 160. Okay, so the line is with us. Yeah, Southampton's just not. They're not there. They're not it.
They're just they sit
Um,
surprisingly, even with Ipswich Town, Southampton feels like the worst team in the league. So
I agree. Okay, any games jump out at you?
we got some good ones down already. I'm thinking about maybe a couple parlays. If we squeezed out, having Aston Villa at minus 120, throwing that in a parlay gets you some pretty good odds with another favorite.
Yeah, what about a Villa Bournemouth? Do you like that, or is that too risky? Or even like a Villa, or is Tottenham too dangerous for you?
I Tottenham's a little risky, I think. But you throw a Villa in with like, let's see what Bournemouth
A
is.
Villa
It gets you
Fulham
to plus 204.
plus
That's
204.
great odds, in my eyes.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
All right, go with that
Villa,
one.
Villa, Bournemouth. Okay.
I want to try. You don't have to go in on this if you don't want to, because I don't think you're in agreement. But I want to do a Brighton Fulham parlay, road dog parlay.
Brighton, Fulham. Let me look at this real quick. What would that get us? Brighton, Fulham. Yeah, I like Fulham in their spot. Brighton, ooh. Yeah, let's see what that will get us. Plus 11, plus 1200.
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay.
That's what I want. That is doable.
Yeah. To win. Plus 1190.
And then if we were doing favorites, man, I can't believe Chelsea's minus 140. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd throw Aston Villa in.
What about a Man City? Nah, oh, that scares me still.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't have confidence in Man City.
A Man City, or not Man City, Arsenal, Aston Villa gets you above even odds. Let's get rid of that one. That's tough, man. I guess we could throw Liverpool, Wolves in. Yeah, that doesn't do much for us.
Brentford?
Where's Brentford?
Plus 120 to win?
I mean, yeah, if we threw in a Liverpool, Aston Villa, Brentford, that'd be plus 460.
Oh, just do Liverpool Villa then. Just a safer one.
Yeah, plus 155. That's
Yeah,
smart.
yeah,
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we make money on that.
Yeah. Look at us learning from our past mistakes.
Oh man, he was just in Vegas. I was like, I'm down for all of it. Give me all the smoke.
No, so I just want in.
I want in on the action. Yeah. The fact that we placed 9 bets and came out even was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we won 3 or 4 out of the 9, but we hit some good ones.
Yeah, we hit a couple of longer odds.
And if
ones.
Tottenham had found a way,
we were close, man. We were
close, man.
It was close to being a big day.
We were 1 week off picking the draw for Man City.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, I like that. We got 140 down.
Nice. All right. And I think that's it. You got anything else you want to go over?
I know it's been a long episode, but I just needed a moment.
Oh yeah? That sounds serious.
Today was a very sad day for me.
Oh.
It was the last Oakland Athletics game in Oakland at the Coliseum.
Honestly,
I was able to go.
Too.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. I was able to go to a game on Sunday, so I was able to see one last game.
Oh,
which was
cool!
Great.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I went up over the weekend, so I went to. It was the last homestand, not the last game, but I was able to go down on the field with my niece to run the bases, and I snagged some home plate dirt.
Hell yeah!
Which was
oh yeah, you
awesome
did send that. Now I remember. I didn't even put it together that it was. Yeah, okay, I got you. I'm with you.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to, I guess, bring it up because I mean, I actually cried today watching the last game, and I just wanted to just reinforce how awesome sports are, that they can make us feel this way. You know, it was the emotions that you feel it's incredible. I mean, so many memories and stories that you remember,
Yeah.
and it just reminded me of how awesome it is that we're able to watch these games and watch these sports.
It's just so gut wrenching to have teams uprooted from a city, and I know that pain, so I feel for you because it sucks.
Yeah,
It really sucks. I wonder
yeah,
if
it sucks, man.
I wonder if
Every team's gone.
has it ever happened in the Premier League. I wonder where clubs have picked up and gone somewhere else. I don't know the history enough.
No, because the clubs are really tied to their cities or their regions. I feel like they have moved stadiums, which has been probably the equivalent. Like a team like West Ham, moving stadiums where it, there it's much smaller scale, but even just moving neighborhoods could be a big deal there, right?
Yeah,
Even if it's not leaving that region of town.
but I wonder if a
And
team's ever
definitely,
gone like I don't know from London to middle of the country or something like that.
I don't think so. I just don't think that's how it works.
That's good. That's how it should
Yeah.
be.
I would say, all the teams where you hear United usually were multiple clubs in the same city or same area combining. So there's probably some hard feelings there. When you hear a Newcastle or Manchester United, those are, clubs that decided to join together to create a bigger club. So there's probably some historic stories of that sort of stuff happening, but it's such smaller scale, right? Than
Yeah.
moving entire states, right? And that sort of thing. But yeah, I just want to share that. I was reminded of just how impactful and meaningful sports can mean to us. So
Oh yeah.
RIP to the A's.
Dude.
Many great memories.
Cheers to the A's. We'll miss you. The AL Padres for years.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. I hope someday that my team comes back to me and hopefully your team comes back to you.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath for either of them, but it would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happened to the Browns. Or
It did.
the Ravens. Wait, what was it? No, the Browns became the Ravens, and then the Browns came back? No. It was one of those teams. Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore Colts left. Yeah.
That's what it was, yeah.
I made the Ravens. Yep.
And they made the Ravens and then became the Colts again.
The Browns was Paul Brown, and he left the Browns and went to Cleveland and made a team, the Bengals.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But yeah,
dude.
I mean, there's maybe a day in the future where the sports come back, but sad day today.
Sad day. Well, hey, some good matchups this weekend, so
yeah, distract myself with some good games this weekend.
Yeah, we still love sports. We'll keep going. All right, man. Well, next week, Thursday, we'll be here.
Sounds good.